Imagine a world where the clash of swords echoes through majestic palaces, where bustling markets tell tales of silk and spices from distant lands, and where the horizon stretches beyond empires. Welcome to the Ottoman Empire, a realm where East met West in a symphony of conquest and cultural splendor. From its humble beginnings amidst the Anatolian hills to becoming the cornerstone of medieval geopolitics, the Ottomans rose to dominate the landscape of history. Their cities shimmered with architectural wonders, their scholars illuminated the minds of generations, and their armies carved out an empire that spanned from Vienna's gates to the shores of Arabia. Join us as we unravel the epic saga of the Ottomans. Tale of ambition, innovation, and enduring legacy that continues to shape our world today. Chapter number 1. Origins and Early Developments. Part 1. Introduction to the Turkic migrations and the arrival of Suleiman Shah and the Kayi tribe. The origins of the Ottoman Empire can be traced back to the Turkic migrations from Central Asia during the medieval period. These migrations brought several Turkic tribes, including the Kayi tribe, into Anatolia. Suleiman Shah, recognized as the patriarch of the Kayi tribe, led his people westward in search of new lands and opportunities. Arriving in Anatolia during the 13th century, Suleiman Shah and the Kayi tribe settled in the region known as the Seljuk Sultanate of Rum. This region was characterized by a blend of Turkish, Persian, and Greek cultural influences, and was a successor state to the Seljuk Empire. The arrival of the Kayi tribe marked the beginning of their interaction with local populations and the Seljuk administration. Part 2. Establishment of the Kayi Principality and early interactions with neighboring tribes. The settlement of the Kayi tribe in Anatolia led to the establishment of their principality, which gradually expanded as they integrated with neighboring Turkic and non-Turkic tribes. This period was marked by alliances, conflicts, and diplomatic engagements with other Turkmen principalities and local Byzantine governors. Under early Kayi leaders such as Osman I, the principality began to assert its independence from the weakening Seljuk Sultanate of Rum. Osman I, the son of Ertugrul, expanded the territory controlled by the Kayi tribe through strategic alliances and military campaigns against Byzantine and other rival entities in Anatolia. This period laid the groundwork for the future Ottoman state, as the Kayi Principality consolidated its power in the region. Part 3. Expansion under early Kayi leaders and conflicts with the Byzantine Empire. During the late 13th and early 14th centuries, the Kayi Principality continued to expand its territory at the expense of the Byzantine Empire. Battles such as the Battle of Paphius and the Battle of Bursa were pivotal in establishing Ottoman dominance in northwestern Anatolia. These conflicts also highlighted the military prowess and strategic acumen of early Ottoman leaders. The expansion under early Kayi leaders, including Orhan and Murad I, saw the gradual incorporation of Byzantine territories into the emerging Ottoman state. The capture of Bursa in 1326 marked a significant turning point, as it became the first major city to be conquered by the Ottomans, solidifying their control over northwestern Anatolia and providing a stable economic base for further expansion. In summary, Chapter 1 of the Ottoman Empire's history explores the foundational period characterized by Turkic migrations, the establishment of the Kayi Principality under Suleiman Shah and subsequent leaders, and the early interactions and conflicts with neighboring tribes and the Byzantine Empire. These developments set the stage for the rise of the Ottoman Empire as a dominant political and cultural force in the Mediterranean and beyond. Certainly. Let's delve into chapter number 2, Rise of the Ottoman Principality, focusing on Osman I and the early expansion of the Ottoman Beylik, their strategic movements into Bithynia, and their interactions with the Seljuk Empire and the Mongol invasions. Part 4. Osman I and the foundation of the Ottoman Beylik. Osman I, the son of Ertugrul Bey and the grandson of Suleiman Shah, is credited with the foundation of the Ottoman Beylik Principality in the early 14th century. initially settled in the region of Sot in northwestern Anatolia. Osman I began consolidating his power by forging alliances with neighboring Turkic tribes and expanding the influence of the Kai tribe. Under Osman's leadership, the Ottoman Principality grew in both military strength and territorial reach. Osman's governance was characterized by a blend of military prowess and administrative reforms, which laid the groundwork for the future expansion of the Ottoman Empire. His strategic vision and diplomatic maneuvers enabled the Ottomans to emerge as a formidable force in the region. Part 5: Expansion into Bithynia and the strategic significance of Bursa. One of Osman I's most significant military achievements was the expansion of Ottoman territory into Bithynia, region strategically located between Constantinople and the Black Sea. The capture of Bursa in 1326 was a watershed moment for the Ottomans, as it not only provided them with a prosperous city, but also served as their first capital. Bursa's strategic location at the foot of Mount Uludag facilitated trade routes and economic prosperity, which bolstered the Ottoman economy and military capabilities. The city became a center of Islamic culture and learning, attracting scholars, artisans, and merchants from across the Islamic world. The conquest of Bursa solidified Ottoman control over northwestern Anatolia and laid the foundation for further territorial expansion into Thrace and beyond. Part 6: Relations with the Seljuk Empire and the Mongol invasions. During Osman I's reign, the Ottoman Principality maintained complex relations with the declining Seljuk Sultanate of Rum, which controlled much of Anatolia. While initially acknowledging Seljuk suzerainty, Osman I strategically expanded Ottoman influence into territories formerly held by the Seljuks, exploiting their weakened state following the Mongol invasions and internal conflicts. The Mongol invasions of the 13th century had a profound impact on Anatolia, disrupting political stability and causing widespread devastation. The Ottomans navigated this tumultuous period by consolidating their power in regions untouched by Mongol incursions and strategically incorporating fleeing populations into their realm. This enabled them to strengthen their military forces and expand their territorial control over key strategic points. In summary, Chapter 2 of the Ottoman Empire's history highlights Osman I's role in establishing the Ottoman Beylik, the strategic expansion into Bithynia with the capture of Bursa, and the complex relations with the Seljuk Empire amidst the backdrop of Mongol invasions. These developments laid the groundwork for the Ottoman Empire's future growth into a major regional power and eventually a global empire, shaping the course of history in the Middle East and Europe. Certainly. Let's explore Chapter number 3, Consolidation and Expansion of the Ottoman Empire, focusing on the key figures of Orhan Gazi, Murad I, and Bayezid I, and their roles in expanding the Ottoman territories and influence. Part 7: Orhan Gazi, Expansion into Thrace and Strategic Alliances. Orhan Gazi succeeded his father, Osman I, as the leader of the Ottoman Beylik and continued his father's policies of expansion and consolidation. During his reign in the early 14th century, Orhan Gazi focused on expanding Ottoman territories into Thrace, a region strategically located across the Bosporus from Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. Under Orhan's leadership, the Ottomans captured important cities in Thrace, including Gallipoli and Adrianople, Edirne. These conquests not only expanded Ottoman control over key trade routes, but also positioned them as a significant power in the Balkans. Orhan Gazi also formed strategic alliances with local Turkish and non-Turkish Muslim communities, further strengthening Ottoman influence in the region. Orhan Gazi's rule marked a period of consolidation for the Ottoman Beylik, as he established administrative structures, promoted economic development, and fostered cultural exchange. His strategic vision laid the foundation for future Ottoman expansion into Europe and Anatolia, setting the stage for the empire's growth under subsequent rulers. Part 8: Murad I, Conquests in the Balkans and the Battle of Kosovo. Murad I, the son of Orhan Gazi, ascended to the Ottoman throne in the late 14th century and continued his father's policy of territorial expansion into the Balkans. His reign was marked by military campaigns aimed at solidifying Ottoman control over southeastern Europe and confronting regional rivals, particularly the Serbian kingdom under Prince Lazar. One of the pivotal events during Murad I's reign was the Battle of Kosovo in 1389, a monumental clash between the Ottoman forces and an alliance of Balkan states led by Prince Lazar. The battle, though indecisive in terms of immediate territorial gains, solidified Ottoman military dominance in the region and demonstrated their formidable military capabilities. Murad I's conquests extended Ottoman influence deep into the Balkans, incorporating Serbian, Bulgarian, and Albanian territories into the Ottoman Empire. His strategic leadership and organizational reforms within the Ottoman military, such as the establishment of the Janissary Corps, strengthened the empire's ability to administer and defend its expanding territories. Part 9. Bayezid I. Ottoman advances into Europe and Anatolia. Bayezid I, also known as Bayezid Yildirim, the Thunderbolt, succeeded his father Murad I and continued the Ottoman expansion into both Europe and Anatolia. During his reign in the late 14th and early 15th centuries, Bayezid I consolidated Ottoman control over the Balkans, Anatolia, and parts of the Middle East through a series of military campaigns and strategic alliances. Bayezid I's most significant military campaign was against the Byzantine Empire, culminating in the Ottoman Siege and Conquest of Constantinople in 1396. This conquest marked the end of the Byzantine Empire and solidified Ottoman dominance over the strategic city, which became the new Ottoman capital and a center of Islamic culture and administration. In Anatolia, Bayezid I confronted and defeated numerous regional rivals, including the Karamanids and the Emirates of Western Anatolia. His victories established Ottoman hegemony over Anatolian territories and paved the way for further Ottoman expansion into the Balkans, Eastern Europe, and beyond. In summary, Chapter 3 of the Ottoman Empire's history focuses on the consolidation and expansion under key rulers like Orhan Gazi, Murad I, and Bayezid I. Their military campaigns, strategic alliances, and administrative reforms laid the groundwork for the Ottomans to emerge as a major power in the Balkans, Anatolia, and Europe, shaping the empire's trajectory and influence in the region for centuries to come. Certainly. Let's explore chapter number 4, Mehmed II and the Conquest of Constantinople in detail, focusing on Mehmed II's early reign, preparations for the conquest, the strategies employed during the fall of Constantinople in 1453, and Mehmed II's subsequent administrative reforms and cultural patronage. Part 10. Mehmed II. Early reign, preparations for conquest, and siege tactics. Mehmed II, also known as Mehmed the Conqueror, ascended to the Ottoman throne in 1444 at the age of 12. His early reign was marked by efforts to consolidate power within the Ottoman Empire and prepare for the eventual conquest of Constantinople, which had been a long-standing goal of Ottoman rulers. During his youth, Mehmed II initiated administrative reforms aimed at centralizing Ottoman authority and strengthening military capabilities. He reorganized the Ottoman bureaucracy, expanded the Janissary Corps, and modernized the Ottoman navy to facilitate maritime operations and trade routes. In preparation for the Siege of Constantinople, Mehmed II commissioned the construction of massive cannons and siege weaponry, including the famous Basilica cannon, which was one of the largest cannons of its time. These technological advancements demonstrated Mehmed II's commitment to conquering Constantinople and overcoming its formidable defenses. Part 11. Fall of Constantinople in 1453. Strategies, aftermath, and renaming the city. The fall of Constantinople in 1453 marked a watershed moment in world history and solidified Mehmed II's reputation as a military strategist and conqueror. The Ottoman Siege of Constantinople employed innovative tactics, including the use of cannons to breach the city's walls and a naval blockade to cut off its maritime supply routes. After a prolonged siege lasting several weeks, Constantinople's defenses were breached on May 29, 1453. The fall of the city resulted in widespread devastation and loss of life, as Ottoman forces stormed the city and overcame Byzantine resistance. Mehmed II personally led the final assault and claimed victory, establishing Ottoman control over the strategic crossroads between Europe and Asia. In the aftermath of the conquest, Mehmed II implemented measures to stabilize the city and integrate its diverse population into the Ottoman Empire. He encouraged the resettlement of Greeks, Turks, and other ethnic groups within Constantinople and promoted religious tolerance, allowing Orthodox Christians and Jews to practice their faiths under Ottoman rule. Mehmed II also renamed Constantinople as Istanbul, marking the city's transformation into the new Ottoman capital and a symbol of imperial grandeur. Istanbul became a center of Islamic culture, learning, and administration, attracting scholars, artists, and merchants from across the Islamic world and Europe. Part 12. Mehmed II's administrative reforms and cultural patronage. Following the conquest of Constantinople, Mehmed II undertook extensive administrative reforms to consolidate Ottoman control over newly acquired territories and ensure efficient governance. He established a centralized bureaucracy, divided the empire into administrative provinces, vilayets, and appointed governors, bailers to oversee local administration and taxation. Culturally, Mehmed II patronized the arts and sciences, commissioning the construction of mosques, madrasas, educational institutions, and public buildings throughout Istanbul and the empire. He invited scholars, poets, and artists to his court, fostering a vibrant cultural environment that blended Islamic, Byzantine, and Persian influences. Mehmed II's reign marked the beginning of the Ottoman Renaissance, or Tulip period, characterized by a flourishing of arts, literature, and architecture. His patronage of scholars such as Asik Pasazade and the historian Tursun Beg contributed to the preservation and expansion of Ottoman historical and literary traditions. In summary, Chapter 4 of the Ottoman Empire's history focuses on Mehmed II's early reign, preparations for the conquest of Constantinople, the strategies employed during its fall in 1453, and Mehmed II's subsequent administrative reforms and cultural patronage. These developments underscore Mehmed II's pivotal role in transforming the Ottoman Empire into a dominant force in the Mediterranean and solidifying Istanbul as a center of imperial power and cultural exchange. Certainly, let's delve into chapter number 5, the Golden Age under Suleiman the Magnificent, focusing on Suleiman I's military campaigns, administrative reforms, cultural achievements, his family tree, and key figures during his reign. Part 13. Suleiman I. Military campaigns, including the Siege of Vienna. Suleiman I, also known as Suleiman the Magnificent, ascended to the Ottoman throne in 1520 and presided over a period often regarded as the empire's Golden Age. During his reign, Suleiman expanded Ottoman territories through a series of military campaigns that solidified Ottoman dominance in the Mediterranean and Eastern Europe. One of Suleiman's notable military campaigns was the Siege of Vienna in 1529. The Ottoman forces, under the command of Grand Vizier Pargali Ibrahim Pasha, besieged the city of Vienna in an attempt to expand Ottoman influence into Central Europe. Although the siege ultimately failed due to logistical challenges and adverse weather conditions, it underscored the Ottomans' ambition to extend their reach beyond traditional boundaries. In addition to the Siege of Vienna, Suleiman I led successful campaigns against the Safavid Empire in Persia, expanding Ottoman control into the Caucasus and securing valuable territories along the eastern frontier. These military victories enhanced Ottoman prestige and solidified Suleiman's reputation as a skilled military commander and statesman. Part 14. Administrative reforms and the peak of Ottoman cultural achievements. Suleiman the Magnificent implemented significant administrative reforms aimed at enhancing governance and centralizing Ottoman authority. He reorganized the Ottoman bureaucracy, established provincial governors, beilers to oversee local administration, and standardized tax collection to ensure fiscal stability across the empire. Culturally, Suleiman's reign marked the peak of Ottoman artistic and literary achievements. He patronized scholars, poets, and artists at his court in Istanbul, fostering a cultural renaissance known as the Tulip period. Ottoman architecture flourished under Suleiman, with the construction of iconic landmarks such as the Süleymaniye Mosque and the Sezade Mosque in Istanbul. Suleiman's court also became a center of intellectual exchange, attracting scholars from across the Islamic world and Europe. The Ottoman Empire under Suleiman's rule embraced diversity and religious tolerance, allowing communities of different faiths to coexist peacefully within its borders. Part 15 Family Tree and Key Figures during Suleiman's reign. Suleiman the Magnificent's family tree played a crucial role in shaping Ottoman succession and imperial policy. His wife, Hürrem Sultan Roxolana, wielded significant influence at the Ottoman court and became a powerful political figure in her own right. Hürrem Sultan's influence over Suleiman was instrumental in shaping Ottoman foreign policy and domestic affairs. Key figures during Suleiman's reign included Grand Vizier Ibrahim Pasha, who played a pivotal role in Ottoman military campaigns and administrative reforms. Ibrahim Pasha's tenure as Grand Vizier marked a period of centralization and reform within the Ottoman government, aligning with Suleiman's vision of a strong and centralized empire. Suleiman's sons, especially Selim II and Murad III, also played significant roles in Ottoman politics and succession. Selim II succeeded Suleiman as Sultan and continued his father's policies of expansion and reform, while Murad III consolidated Ottoman power and oversaw cultural developments during his reign. In summary, Chapter 5 of the Ottoman Empire's history under Suleiman the Magnificent highlights his military campaigns, administrative reforms, cultural achievements, and the influential figures in his court. Suleiman's reign marked a period of unprecedented cultural flourishing and imperial expansion, shaping the Ottoman Empire's legacy as a global superpower and a center of artistic and intellectual innovation. Certainly, let's explore chapter number 6, Expansion and Challenges of the Ottoman Empire, focusing on Ottoman expansion into North Africa, the Mediterranean, and the Middle East. Challenges from Safavids, Mamluks, and European powers, as well as economic developments, trade routes, and the guild system. Part 16 Ottoman expansion into North Africa, the Mediterranean, and the Middle East. During the height of its power, the Ottoman Empire expanded its influence into various regions, including North Africa, the Mediterranean, and the Middle East. This expansion was driven by strategic military campaigns, alliances, and economic interests that aimed to consolidate Ottoman control over key trade routes and maritime territories. In North Africa, the Ottomans established a presence by conquering territories such as Egypt and Algeria, integrating these regions into the empire's administrative and economic network. The conquest of Egypt in 1517, for instance, brought the lucrative trade routes of the Red Sea under Ottoman control, enhancing their commercial influence in the region. In the Mediterranean, the Ottomans expanded their naval capabilities and engaged in maritime conflicts with rival powers such as Venice and Spain. The Ottoman navy, under skilled admirals like Barbarossa, Khaireddin Pasha, challenged European dominance in the Mediterranean and secured Ottoman control over key ports and islands. In the Middle East, Ottoman expansion included campaigns against the Safavid Empire in Persia, aiming to assert Ottoman authority over territories in Mesopotamia and the Caucasus. These military campaigns often involved complex geopolitical dynamics and diplomatic maneuvering to secure alliances and neutralize regional rivals. Overall, Ottoman expansion into North Africa, the Mediterranean, and the Middle East during this period demonstrated the empire's ambitious quest for territorial consolidation, economic prosperity, and strategic dominance across diverse geographic regions. Part 17 Challenges from Safavids, Mamluks, and European powers. The Ottoman Empire faced significant challenges from various regional and European powers during its expansionist phase. The Safavid Empire in Persia emerged as a formidable rival, contesting Ottoman control over territories in the Caucasus and Mesopotamia. The Ottoman-Safavid Wars, spanning several centuries, highlighted the geopolitical rivalry between Sunni Ottoman Turkey and Shia Safavid Persia, shaping the political landscape of the Middle East. In Egypt and the Levant, the Ottoman Empire confronted the Mamluk Sultanate, which retained influence despite Ottoman conquests. The Mamluks, skilled in military tactics and administration, posed a challenge to Ottoman authority in the region, necessitating diplomatic alliances and military campaigns to consolidate Ottoman control. On the European front, the Ottoman Empire faced resistance from powers such as Venice, Austria, and Spain, which sought to curtail Ottoman expansion in the Mediterranean and Eastern Europe. The Ottoman-Habsburg Wars, particularly the sieges of Vienna and Malta, underscored the intense rivalry and military confrontations between the Ottomans and European Christian powers. Despite these challenges, the Ottoman Empire employed diplomatic negotiations, military alliances, and economic strategies to maintain its territorial integrity and influence over diverse regions stretching from the Balkans to the Arabian Peninsula. Part 18 Economic Developments, Trade Routes, and Guild System. Economically, the Ottoman Empire experienced significant developments during its expansionist phase. The empire's strategic location facilitated trade routes linking Europe, Asia, and Africa, fostering a thriving commercial network that enriched urban centers such as Istanbul, Cairo, and Aleppo. The Ottoman economy relied on agricultural production, including grains, cotton, and silk, cultivated in fertile regions across Anatolia and the Levant. Trade routes like the Silk Road and maritime routes in the Mediterranean facilitated the exchange of goods, spices, and luxury items between East and West, contributing to the empire's economic prosperity. The guild system played a crucial role in Ottoman economic life, organizing artisans and merchants into professional associations, esnas, that regulated production, prices, and quality standards. Guilds promoted craftsmanship and vocational training, ensuring the production of high-quality goods ranging from textiles to metalwork. Under the leadership of capable administrators and viziers, the Ottoman Empire implemented economic reforms, including tax policies, state monopolies on key commodities like salt and tobacco, and infrastructure investments in roads, bridges, and irrigation systems. In summary, Chapter 6 of the Ottoman Empire's history explores its expansion into North Africa, the Mediterranean, and the Middle East, challenges from regional powers and European rivals, and the economic developments, trade routes, and guild system that underpinned Ottoman imperial prosperity and resilience during this dynamic period of history. Certainly, let's dive into chapter number 7, Reform and Modernization of the Ottoman Empire, focusing on Selim II's challenges and economic reforms in the late 16th century, administrative centralization, taxation, the role of the Janissaries, and military modernization and naval expansion. Part 19 Selim II, Challenges and Economic Reforms in the Late 16th Century. Selim II, also known as Selim the Sot due to his indulgence in alcohol, inherited a complex set of challenges during his reign in the late 16th century Ottoman Empire. He ascended the throne at a time when the empire faced economic stagnation, fiscal challenges, and increasing pressure from European powers. One of Selim II's primary challenges was the economic strain caused by extensive military campaigns and territorial expansion in previous centuries. The Ottoman Empire's vast territorial holdings required significant financial resources to maintain, leading Selim II to implement economic reforms aimed at bolstering state revenues and reducing expenditures. Selim II introduced measures to reform tax collection and administration, aiming to streamline revenue collection and ensure more efficient allocation of resources. He sought to curb corruption within the bureaucracy and enhance accountability among provincial governors, bailiers, responsible for tax collection and administration. Despite these efforts, Selim II's reign witnessed a period of economic decline exacerbated by inflation, debasement of currency, and dependence on foreign loans to finance state expenditures. These economic challenges contributed to social unrest and discontent among various segments of Ottoman society, including the peasantry and urban artisans. Part 20. Administrative centralization, taxation, and the role of the janissaries. Administratively, Selim II pursued policies aimed at centralizing Ottoman authority and reducing the autonomy of provincial governors. He strengthened the role of the imperial bureaucracy, appointing loyal administrators, viziers, to oversee provincial governance and enforce central directives. Taxation under Selim II underwent reforms aimed at increasing state revenues while alleviating the burden on peasants and urban merchants. He instituted new taxes on luxury goods, land rents, and commercial transactions, seeking to diversify revenue sources and reduce reliance on agrarian taxes. The janissaries, an elite infantry corps composed of Christian slaves converted to Islam, played a pivotal role in Ottoman military and political affairs. During Selim II's reign, the janissaries wielded significant influence as a political force, often intervening in succession disputes and palace intrigues. Despite their military prowess, the janissaries became increasingly resistant to reforms and institutional changes proposed by Ottoman rulers, posing challenges to efforts aimed at modernizing the military and enhancing operational efficiency. Part 21. Military modernization and naval expansion. Military modernization and naval expansion were priorities during Selim II's reign as the Ottoman Empire confronted European naval powers and regional adversaries in the Mediterranean and Black Sea. Naval expansion under Selim II aimed to enhance Ottoman maritime capabilities and protect vital trade routes linking Istanbul with North Africa and the Levant. The Ottoman Navy, under the leadership of skilled admirals like Barbarossa and Sokollu Mehmed Pasha, engaged in naval battles with rival fleets from Venice, Spain, and the Holy League. Military modernization initiatives included the adoption of Western military technologies, such as firearms and artillery, to strengthen Ottoman land forces and improve combat effectiveness. Selim II sponsored the construction of arsenals, military academies, meterrain, and fortifications to bolster defense capabilities along the empire's frontiers. Despite these efforts, Ottoman military reforms faced challenges due to logistical constraints, bureaucratic resistance, and financial limitations. The janissaries, entrenched in traditional military practices, often resisted innovations that threatened their privileged status within Ottoman society. In summary, Chapter 7 of the Ottoman Empire's history under Selim II explores the challenges and economic reforms of the late 16th century, administrative centralization, taxation policies, the role of the janissaries as a political force, and efforts towards military modernization and naval expansion. Selim II's reign reflects a period of economic hardship, administrative restructuring, and military adaptation as the Ottoman Empire navigated internal pressures and external threats during a pivotal phase of its history. Certainly, let's delve into chapter number 8, Height and Decline of the Ottoman Empire, focusing on the rise of Murad IV and military campaigns in Eastern Europe, cultural developments at the Ottoman court during the 17th century, and political challenges including revolts and internal strife. Part 22. Rise of Murad IV and military campaigns in Eastern Europe. Murad IV ascended to the Ottoman throne in 1623, inheriting a vast empire facing internal instability and external threats. His reign marked a period of renewed military vigor and territorial expansion, particularly in Eastern Europe. Murad IV's military campaigns in Eastern Europe aimed to assert Ottoman dominance over territories lost to rival powers and secure strategic frontiers along the Danube and Black Sea regions. He launched successful campaigns against the Habsburg Empire, the principal rival of the Ottomans in Central Europe, capturing key fortresses and territories in Hungary and Transylvania. One of the notable military achievements of Murad IV was the recapture of Baghdad from the Safavid Empire in 1638, restoring Ottoman control over Mesopotamia and reaffirming Ottoman influence in the Persian Gulf region. Military reforms under Murad IV focused on modernizing the Ottoman army through the adoption of firearms, artillery, and centralized command structures. He reorganized the Janissary Corps and instituted disciplinary measures to enhance military discipline and combat readiness. Despite his military successes, Murad IV's reign was characterized by internal challenges, including economic strain, political dissent, and the resurgence of Janissary influence. His death in 1640 at a young age underscored the fragile nature of Ottoman succession and the complexities of governing a vast, multi-ethnic empire. Part 23: Cultural Developments and the Ottoman Court during the 17th century. Culturally, the Ottoman Empire experienced significant developments during the 17th century, reflecting the empire's diverse heritage and cosmopolitan character. The Ottoman court, centered in Istanbul, served as a vibrant hub of artistic patronage, intellectual exchange, and cultural innovation. During this period, the Ottoman court patronized renowned artists, poets, and scholars who contributed to the flourishing of Ottoman literature, music, and architecture. Prominent figures such as Evliya Çelebi, an esteemed travel writer, and Katip Çelebi, a pioneering historian and polymath, enriched Ottoman intellectual life through their scholarly works and literary contributions. Architecturally, the Ottoman Empire continued to embellish Istanbul's skyline with iconic structures such as the Sultan Ahmed Mosque, Blue Mosque, and the Süleymaniye Mosque, showcasing the empire's architectural prowess and religious devotion. The Ottoman court also fostered diplomatic and cultural ties with European powers, facilitating cultural exchanges that influenced Ottoman artistic traditions and intellectual thought. European travelers and diplomats visiting Istanbul documented their experiences, contributing to Western perceptions of Ottoman culture and society. Part 24: Political Challenges, including revolts and internal strife. Political challenges during the 17th century tested the Ottoman Empire's administrative resilience and stability. Internal revolts, often led by provincial governors, beylers, and discontent janissaries, highlighted growing dissatisfaction with Ottoman centralization policies and economic hardships. The Selali Rebellions, a series of uprisings in Anatolia and eastern Anatolia, posed a significant threat to Ottoman authority, prompting military campaigns to suppress rebel forces and restore imperial control. The rebellions underscored socio-economic disparities and grievances among rural peasants, nomadic tribes, and urban populations affected by taxation and agrarian policies. Externally, the Ottoman Empire faced diplomatic and military challenges from European powers, particularly the Habsburgs and the Venetians, who contested Ottoman territorial claims in the Balkans, North Africa, and the Mediterranean. Despite these challenges, the Ottoman Empire maintained its status as a major geopolitical power throughout the 17th century, navigating complex alliances, territorial disputes, and internal reforms aimed at preserving imperial sovereignty and cultural heritage. In summary, Chapter 8 of the Ottoman Empire's history examines the rise of Murad IV and military campaigns in Eastern Europe, cultural developments at the Ottoman court during the 17th century, and political challenges including revolts and internal strife. This period reflects the empire's dynamic evolution amidst military achievements, cultural vibrancy, and internal tensions that shaped its trajectory towards the challenges of the modern era. Certainly, let's explore chapter number 9, Ottoman Empire in the 18th century, focusing on Ahmed III's patronage of the arts. European influence, the Tulip Era, the War of Austrian Succession, the Treaty of Belgrade, and the decline of the Ottoman Navy and economic stagnation. Part 25. Ahmed III. Patronage of the arts, European influence, and the Tulip Era. Ahmed III's reign, 1703 to 1730, marked a period of cultural renaissance and European influence within the Ottoman Empire. Known for his patronage of the arts and intellectual pursuits, Ahmed III sought to modernize Ottoman court culture and foster closer ties with European powers. Under Ahmed III's patronage, Istanbul experienced the flourishing of the arts and literature, characterized by a vibrant cultural scene known as the Tulip Era, named after the popularity of tulip cultivation and extravagant tulip festivals. The era symbolized a period of cultural refinement, luxury, and cosmopolitanism. Ahmed III's court attracted European artists, architects, and intellectuals, contributing to the exchange of ideas and artistic innovations between East and West. Ottoman palaces, mosques, and public spaces were adorned with intricate floral motifs, calligraphy, and geometric designs influenced by European Baroque and Rococo styles. European influence extended beyond cultural exchanges to diplomatic relations, as Ahmed III pursued alliances with European powers to counterbalance the growing influence of Russia and Austria in Eastern Europe. His efforts to navigate the shifting alliances of European politics aimed to safeguard Ottoman territorial integrity and maintain regional stability. Part 26. War of Austrian Succession and the Treaty of Belgrade. The War of Austrian Succession, 1740 to 1748, marked a pivotal military conflict for the Ottoman Empire, challenging its territorial holdings in Central Europe and the Balkans. The Ottoman forces, led by Grand Vizier Hekimoglu Ali Pasha, clashed with Austrian and Russian armies over contested territories in Hungary and Serbia. The Treaty of Belgrade, 1739, negotiated between the Ottoman Empire and Austria, concluded the War of Austrian Succession and reaffirmed Ottoman control over Serbia and parts of Hungary. The treaty represented a diplomatic victory for the Ottomans, preserving territorial boundaries while mitigating the immediate threat posed by Austrian expansionism. Despite the treaty's favorable terms, the Ottoman Empire faced internal challenges exacerbated by economic stagnation, fiscal mismanagement, and regional autonomy among provincial governors. Beelers. The decline of the Ottoman Navy, once a formidable force in the Mediterranean, underscored structural weaknesses within the empire's maritime capabilities. Part 27. Decline of the Ottoman Navy and economic stagnation. The decline of the Ottoman Navy during the 18th century reflected broader challenges confronting the empire's military and economic institutions. Historically renowned for its naval prowess and dominance in the Mediterranean, the Ottoman Navy experienced a gradual decline due to budgetary constraints, outdated technologies, and administrative inefficiencies. Economic stagnation exacerbated the empire's fiscal vulnerabilities, as declining revenues from agricultural taxes and trade routes strained state coffers. The shift in global trade dynamics and the emergence of European colonial powers further marginalized Ottoman commercial interests in lucrative markets across the Mediterranean and Indian Ocean. Efforts to revitalize the Ottoman economy through agricultural reforms and trade policies faced resistance from entrenched bureaucratic interests and provincial elites reluctant to cede authority to central government directives. The empire's dependence on foreign loans and diplomatic subsidies highlighted its precarious financial position amidst geopolitical shifts in Europe and Asia. In summary, Chapter 9 of the Ottoman Empire's history in the 18th century examines Ahmed III's patronage of the arts, European influence during the Tulip Era, the impact of the War of Austrian Succession and the Treaty of Belgrade on Ottoman territorial integrity, and challenges posed by the decline of the Ottoman Navy and economic stagnation. This period reflects the empire's efforts to navigate cultural exchanges, military conflicts, and economic pressures amid changing dynamics in European and global affairs. Certainly. Let's explore chapter number 10, Tanzimat Reforms and Modernization, focusing on Mahmud II's abolition of the Janissaries and administrative reforms. The Tanzimat era, including legal reforms, education, and westernization efforts, and the impact of European powers and nationalist movements. Part 28. Mahmud II. Abolition of the Janissaries and administrative reforms. Mahmud II ascended to the Ottoman throne in 1808 amidst internal strife and external pressures, marking a transformative period known for his bold reforms aimed at modernizing the Ottoman state. One of Mahmud II's most significant reforms was the abolition of the Janissaries in 1826. Originally an elite infantry corps established in the 14th century, the Janissaries had become a powerful and often disruptive force within Ottoman society, resisting administrative changes and technological advancements. Mahmud II's decisive action to dissolve the Janissary corps and suppress their revolt symbolized a break from tradition and signaled his commitment to centralizing state authority. The event, known as the Auspicious Incident, paved the way for the establishment of a modern Ottoman military based on European models, integrating conscription and professional training. Administrative reforms under Mahmud II aimed to streamline governance, enhance fiscal efficiency, and promote meritocracy within the bureaucracy. He centralized administrative control through the establishment of ministries and provincial governors, vallis, reducing the influence of provincial elites and tribal leaders. Part 29. Tanzimat era. Legal reforms, education, and westernization efforts. The Tanzimat era, spanning from the late 1830s to the early 1870s, marked a period of comprehensive reforms under successive Ottoman sultans aimed at modernizing state institutions and legal frameworks. Legal reforms during the Tanzimat era sought to codify Ottoman law based on principles of equality before the law, judicial impartiality, and protection of individual rights. The Hat-i-Serif of Gilane, 1839, and subsequent reform edicts established a legal framework emphasizing civil liberties, property rights, and religious tolerance. Educational reforms under the Tanzimat aimed to expand access to modern education, promoting secular and vocational training to meet the demands of an evolving economy and administrative apparatus. New schools and universities were established. Curriculum standards were revised to include Western sciences and languages, and scholarships were awarded to Ottoman students for studies abroad. Westernization efforts under the Tanzimat era reflected Ottoman aspirations to emulate European models of governance, industrialization, and cultural advancement. European advisors were appointed to key ministries. Infrastructure projects were initiated to improve transportation and communication networks, and Ottoman diplomats engaged in diplomatic exchanges and treaties with European powers. Part 30. Impact of European powers and nationalist movements. The Tanzimat reforms coincided with heightened geopolitical competition and imperial ambitions among European powers, particularly Russia, Britain, France, and Austria-Hungary. Ottoman territories in the Balkans, Caucasus, and Middle East became contested arenas for diplomatic maneuvering and military conflict. European influence extended beyond diplomatic relations to economic concessions, trade agreements, and foreign investments in Ottoman industries and infrastructure projects. The Ottoman Empire's indebtedness to European creditors and reliance on foreign loans underscored its economic dependence amidst declining fiscal revenues and administrative challenges. Internally, the Tanzimat era witnessed the rise of nationalist movements advocating for constitutionalism, ethnic autonomy, and political representation. The Young Ottomans and Young Turks emerged as influential political factions seeking to reconcile Ottoman traditions with modern constitutional principles, culminating in the adoption of the Ottoman Constitution of 1876, Kanun-u Isası. In summary, Chapter 10 of the Ottoman Empire's history explores Mahmud II's abolition of the Janissaries and administrative reforms, the Tanzimat era encompassing legal reforms, education and westernization efforts, and the impact of European powers and nationalist movements. This period reflects the Ottoman Empire's endeavors to modernize amidst external pressures, internal transformations, and evolving socio-political dynamics that shaped its trajectory into the late 19th century. Certainly. Let's delve into chapter number 11. Late Ottoman period, focusing on the reign of Abdülhamid II, the Ottoman Constitution, and pan-Islamic policies, the Young Turk Revolution, and the Committee of Union and Progress, and the Balkan Wars and loss of European territories. Part 31. Reign of Abdülhamid II, Ottoman Constitution and Pan-Islamic Policies. Abdülhamid II's reign, 1876 to 1909, was marked by significant political, social, and economic transformations amidst internal challenges and external pressures from European powers. On ascending the throne, Abdülhamid II initially endorsed the adoption of the Ottoman Constitution of 1876, Kanun-Ussasa, which aimed to establish a constitutional monarchy and parliamentary system. However, following a brief period of constitutional rule, Abdülhamid II suspended the constitution in 1878, citing threats to the empire's stability and sovereignty. During his reign, Abdülhamid II pursued a policy of pan-Islamism, seeking to rally Muslim solidarity across the Ottoman Empire and beyond. His pan-Islamic policies aimed to position the Ottoman Caliphate as a unifying force among Muslim-majority regions and to counteract European imperial ambitions in the Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia. Abdülhamid II's pan-Islamic vision included the construction of educational institutions, madrasas, and cultural centers to promote Islamic scholarship and strengthen religious identity. His efforts to modernize infrastructure, expand telegraph networks, and promote industrialization were part of a broader strategy to bolster Ottoman sovereignty and economic resilience amidst global economic integration. Part 32. Young Turk Revolution and the Committee of Union and Progress. The Young Turk Revolution of 1908 marked a turning point in Ottoman politics, driven by a coalition of reformist intellectuals, military officers, and bureaucrats known as the Committee of Union and Progress, CUP. Frustrated by Abdülhamid II's autocratic rule and perceived mismanagement, the Young Turks mobilized popular discontent and military support to restore the Ottoman Constitution of 1876 and reinstate parliamentary democracy. The revolution resulted in Abdülhamid II's deposition and the ascension of Mehmed V as a figurehead sultan under CUP influence. The Committee of Union and Progress advocated for modernization, secularization, and national unity within the Ottoman Empire. Their agenda included administrative reforms, infrastructure development, and efforts to mitigate ethnic and religious tensions through a policy of Ottomanism, emphasizing civic loyalty over ethnic identity. Part 33. Balkan Wars and Loss of European Territories. The Balkan Wars, 1912 to 1913, represented a series of military conflicts that resulted in significant territorial losses for the Ottoman Empire in southeastern Europe. Triggered by nationalist uprisings and territorial disputes among Balkan states, the Balkan Wars saw Ottoman forces pitted against a coalition of Balkan states, including Serbia, Montenegro, Bulgaria, and Greece. Despite initial Ottoman victories, the empire's military capabilities were strained by internal divisions, outdated tactics, and logistical challenges. The Treaty of London, 1913, and subsequent treaties partitioned Ottoman-held territories in the Balkans, resulting in the loss of Albania, Macedonia, Kosovo, and large parts of Thrace. The territorial losses exacerbated ethnic tensions and triggered mass migrations of Muslim and Christian populations, reshaping demographic landscapes in the region. The Balkan Wars underscored the Ottoman Empire's declining influence in Europe and heightened vulnerabilities amidst geopolitical rivalries and nationalist movements. The loss of European territories further strained Ottoman resources and deepened socio-economic disparities, setting the stage for subsequent challenges during World War I. In summary, Chapter 11 of the Ottoman Empire's history explores Abdülhamid II's reign, the adoption of pan-Islamic policies, the Young Turk Revolution and the rise of the Committee of Union and Progress, and the impact of the Balkan Wars leading to significant territorial losses. This period reflects the empire's struggles with internal reform, external pressures, and shifting geopolitical dynamics that ultimately shaped its trajectory into the 20th century. Certainly, let's explore chapter number 12, World War I and Dissolution, focusing on the Ottoman entry into World War I. Alliances, military campaigns, the Armenian genocide, and international repercussions, and the Treaty of Sevres leading to the Turkish War of Independence. Part 34 Ottoman entry into World War I. Alliances and military campaigns. The Ottoman Empire's entry into World War I in 1914 was shaped by complex diplomatic maneuvers and alliances within the European power dynamics of the time. Initially, the Ottoman government, led by the Committee of Union and Progress, CUP, pursued a policy of neutrality, seeking to leverage its strategic position between Europe and Asia. However, under pressure from German and Austro-Hungarian diplomats, the Ottoman Empire signed the Ottoman-German Alliance, 1914, and entered the war on the side of the Central Powers, which included Germany, Austria-Hungary, and later the Kingdom of Bulgaria. The Ottoman military campaigns during World War I were diverse and spanned multiple theaters of conflict, including the Caucasus, Mesopotamia, Palestine, and the Balkans. Ottoman forces, commanded by leaders such as Enver Pasha and Mustafa Kemal, later Ataturk, engaged in battles against British, Russian, and Allied forces, facing logistical challenges and evolving military strategies amidst a global conflict. The Ottoman army's participation in the Gallipoli Campaign, 1915 to 1916, against British and ANZAC, Australian and New Zealand Army Corps forces marked a significant defensive effort to protect Constantinople, Istanbul, and secure Ottoman control over the Dardanelles Strait. Part 35 Armenian Genocide and International Repercussions. One of the darkest chapters of Ottoman history during World War I was the Armenian Genocide, which began in 1915 under the pretext of deportations and relocation policies implemented by the Ottoman government. The Armenian Genocide resulted in the mass deportation, displacement, and systematic extermination of Armenian communities across Ottoman territories. The policies, orchestrated by the CVP leadership and military officials, led to widespread atrocities, including forced marches, starvation, and massacres, resulting in the deaths of an estimated 1.5 million Armenians. The genocide provoked international outrage and condemnation, sparking humanitarian responses and diplomatic protests from allied nations, neutral states, and international organizations. Reports of atrocities, documented by missionaries, diplomats, and relief workers, contributed to public awareness and advocacy for Armenian rights and justice. The Armenian Genocide remains a contested issue in modern Turkish-Armenian relations and international discourse on human rights and genocide prevention. Recognition and remembrance efforts continue to shape global perceptions of the Ottoman Empire's legacy and responsibilities in confronting historical injustices. Part 36 Treaty of Sevres and the Turkish War of Independence. The Treaty of Sevres, 1920, marked the post-war settlement imposed on the Ottoman Empire by Allied powers, including Britain, France, Italy, and Greece, following Ottoman defeat in World War I and the dissolution of the Central Powers. The treaty aimed to dismantle the Ottoman Empire's territorial holdings and impose severe political, economic, and military restrictions on Turkish sovereignty. It proposed the partitioning of Anatolia and the establishment of Allied-controlled zones, reflecting geopolitical ambitions and colonial aspirations amidst post-war reconstruction. The Treaty of Sevres catalyzed nationalist resistance and led to the Turkish War of Independence, 1919 to 1923, spearheaded by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk and supported by diverse factions, including former Ottoman military officers, nationalist militias, and civilian populations. Under Atatürk's leadership, the Turkish national movement launched military campaigns against occupying Allied forces and rival nationalist groups, culminating in decisive victories at the battles of Sakarya and Dumlupınar. The successful defense of Anatolia and the Treaty of Lausanne, 1923, formally ended hostilities and recognized the sovereignty of the newly established Republic of Turkey. In summary, Chapter 12 of the Ottoman Empire's history explores its entry into World War I, military campaigns, the Armenian Genocide, and its international repercussions, and the Treaty of Sevres leading to the Turkish War of Independence. This period reflects the empire's decline, internal conflicts, and the emergence of modern Turkey amidst global upheavals and transformative socio-political dynamics in the early 20th century. Certainly, let's explore chapter number 13, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk and the Republic of Turkey, focusing on Atatürk's leadership and reforms, the abolition of the Ottoman Sultanate, establishment of the Republic, and key figures during the transition period. Part 37: Atatürk's leadership and reforms in the early 20th century. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk emerged as the central figure in Turkey's transition from the Ottoman Empire to the modern Republic of Turkey during the early 20th century. Born in Salonika, Thessaloniki, Atatürk rose through the ranks of the Ottoman military and became a prominent leader during World War I, notably commanding Ottoman forces at the Battle of Gallipoli. Following the Ottoman defeat in World War I and the signing of the Treaty of Sevres, 1920, Atatürk spearheaded the Turkish War of Independence, 1919 to 1923, against Allied occupation forces and Greek-backed militias. His leadership skills, strategic acumen, and charismatic appeal mobilized diverse factions across Anatolia in resistance against foreign intervention and partition plans. Atatürk's military successes at the battles of Sakarya and Dumlupınar were pivotal in securing Turkish independence and laying the foundations for a new national identity rooted in secularism, modernization, and civic nationalism. His leadership during the War of Independence solidified his status as a unifying figure and visionary statesman. Part 38: Abolition of the Ottoman Sultanate and establishment of the Republic. A defining moment in Turkey's history occurred on November 1, 1922, when Mustafa Kemal Atatürk led the Grand National Assembly in abolishing the Ottoman Sultanate, formally ending the centuries-old imperial institution. The decision marked a symbolic break from Ottoman tradition and centralized authority under a modern republican framework. On October 29, 1923, Atatürk proclaimed the establishment of the Republic of Turkey, with Ankara replacing Istanbul, formerly Constantinople, as the new capital. The Republic represented a radical departure from Ottoman monarchical rule and embraced secularism, democratic principles, and social reforms aimed at modernizing Turkish society. Atatürk's visionary reforms included the adoption of Swiss civil law, 1926, the introduction of the Latin alphabet, 1928, to replace Arabic script, and initiatives to promote gender equality, education, and industrialization. These reforms, collectively known as Kemalism or Atatürkism, sought to align Turkey with Western democratic norms and foster national unity. Part 39: Family tree and key figures during the transition period. During the transition from the Ottoman Empire to the Republic of Turkey, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk surrounded himself with key figures who played crucial roles in shaping Turkey's political, military, and cultural landscape. Among these figures were İsmet İnönü, Atatürk's close ally and the second president of Turkey, who supported Ataturk's policies and served as prime minister during critical periods of nation-building. Other influential leaders included Celal Bayar, who later became Turkey's third president, and Fevzi Çakmak, a prominent military commander and minister of war. Ataturk's family tree included his adopted daughters, Sabiha Gökçen, the world's first female fighter pilot, and Dülk Edip, whose contributions to Turkish aviation and education symbolized Ataturk's commitment to women's rights and educational reform. In summary, Chapter 13 of the Ottoman Empire's history explores Mustafa Kemal Ataturk's leadership and reforms during the early 20th century, the abolition of the Ottoman Sultanate and establishment of the Republic of Turkey, and key figures who shaped Turkey's transition from imperial decline to modern nationhood. This period marks a transformative era in Turkish history, characterized by political upheaval, socio-economic reforms, and cultural revitalization under Ataturk's visionary leadership. Certainly. Let's delve into chapter number 14, Cultural and Architectural Legacy of the Ottoman Empire, focusing on Ottoman art, literature, cultural contributions, architectural marvels including mosques, palaces, and public works, as well as advancements in educational institutions and science. Part 40 Ottoman Art, Literature, and Cultural Contributions. Ottoman art and literature flourished over centuries, blending influences from Islamic, Byzantine, Persian, and European traditions to create a distinct cultural identity. Art. Ottoman artists excelled in calligraphy, manuscript illumination, miniature painting, ceramics, and textiles. Calligraphy, in particular, reached its pinnacle as a revered art form used to decorate mosques, palaces, and manuscripts. Miniature paintings depicted scenes from court life, battles, and landscapes, capturing the vibrant cultural tapestry of the empire. Literature. Ottoman literature encompassed poetry, prose, and historical chronicles. Prominent poets like Süleyman Çelebi, Fuzuli, and Nedim crafted verses that reflected themes of love, nature, mysticism, and the empire's triumphs and tribulations. Historical works chronicled the lives of sultans, military campaigns, and administrative reforms, providing valuable insights into Ottoman society. Cultural contributions. The Ottomans made enduring contributions to music, theater, cuisine, and fashion. Music, influenced by both Islamic and European styles, produced compositions known as Ottoman classical music. Turkish cuisine, renowned for its rich flavors and diverse dishes, evolved from the fusion of Central Asian, Middle Eastern, and Mediterranean culinary traditions. Ottoman architecture also left an indelible mark on cultural landscapes across regions they governed. Part 41 Architectural Marvels, Mosques, Palaces, and Public Works. Ottoman architecture is celebrated for its grandeur, innovation, and cultural synthesis. Mosques. Ottoman mosques, characterized by large domes, towering minarets, and intricate tile work, served as centers of worship and community life. The Süleymaniye Mosque in Istanbul, designed by the renowned architect Mimar Sinan, exemplifies Ottoman architectural mastery with its harmonious blend of geometry, light, and Islamic calligraphy. Palaces. The Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, once the administrative and residential center of the Ottoman sultans, showcases opulent courtyards, lavish chambers, and exquisite gardens. It symbolizes the imperial splendor and administrative prowess of the Ottoman dynasty. Public works. The Ottomans undertook extensive public works projects, including bridges, aqueducts, and baths, to enhance urban infrastructure and facilitate trade and commerce. These constructions not only served practical purposes, but also reflected the empire's commitment to civic development and public welfare. Part 42 Educational Institutions and Advancements in Science. Under Ottoman patronage, educational institutions flourished, fostering intellectual inquiry and scholarly pursuits. Madrasas. Ottoman madrasas, Religious schools that offered instruction in Islamic theology, jurisprudence, and philosophy played a pivotal role in training scholars, jurists, and administrators. They promoted the study of Arabic and Persian literature, Quranic sciences, and Islamic law, ensuring the propagation of Islamic knowledge across generations. Advancements in science. Ottoman scholars made significant contributions to astronomy, medicine, mathematics, and cartography. Observatories such as the Taqi al-Din Observatory in Istanbul advanced astronomical studies, while medical treatises and manuscripts contributed to advancements in healthcare practices. Ottoman cartographers produced accurate maps and navigational charts, aiding maritime exploration and trade routes in the Mediterranean and beyond. In summary, Chapter 14 of the Ottoman Empire's history explores its rich cultural and architectural legacy, encompassing artistic achievements in art and literature, iconic architectural marvels like mosques and palaces, and advancements in educational institutions and scientific endeavors. These contributions continue to resonate in contemporary Turkish culture and global heritage, highlighting the enduring impact of the Ottoman Empire on civilization and artistic expression. Certainly. Here's a detailed exploration of chapter number 15. Economic contributions and trade networks of the Ottoman Empire, focusing on its economy, trade routes, guilds, economic policies, impact on global commerce, cultural exchange, agricultural innovations, and urban development. Part 43. Ottoman economy, trade routes, guilds, and economic policies. The Ottoman Empire's economy was a complex web of trade, agriculture, and industry that sustained its vast territories and diverse population. Trade routes. Ottoman trade routes spanned Europe, Asia, and Africa, connecting major centers of commerce such as Constantinople, Istanbul, Cairo, Aleppo, and Baghdad. These routes facilitated the exchange of goods, technologies, and cultural ideas across continents. The empire's strategic location bridged east and west, making it a pivotal hub for international trade. Guilds. Guilds played a crucial role in Ottoman economic life, organizing artisans, merchants, and craftsmen into professional associations. These guilds regulated production standards, set prices, and provided social welfare for members. Guilds such as the bazaar merchants in Constantinople and silk weavers in Bursa ensured quality control and fair trade practices within their respective industries. Economic policies. Ottoman economic policies were characterized by state intervention and regulation aimed at fostering economic stability and growth. The state imposed taxes on trade and agriculture to finance public projects, maintain the military, and support administrative functions. Imperial decrees and edicts promoted commercial activities, protected property rights, and incentivized agricultural development through land grants and irrigation projects. Part 44. Impact of Ottoman trade on global commerce and cultural exchange. Ottoman trade had a profound impact on global commerce and cultural exchange during the empire's peak. Global commerce. Ottoman merchants traded a diverse array of goods including textiles, spices, ceramics, carpets, and precious metals. Trade agreements and treaties with European powers, such as the capitulations, granted foreign merchants favorable trading rights within Ottoman territories, expanding commerce and fostering economic prosperity. Cultural exchange. Trade networks facilitated cultural exchange between the Ottoman Empire and its trading partners. European merchants brought innovations in technology, art, and science to Ottoman markets, while Ottoman goods such as coffee, ceramics, and textiles became highly sought after in European capitals. This cultural interchange enriched both Ottoman and European societies, influencing fashion, cuisine, and artistic styles. Part 45. Agricultural innovations and urban development. Agriculture and urban development were vital components of the Ottoman economy, sustaining urban centers and rural communities alike. Agricultural innovations. The Ottomans introduced advanced agricultural techniques, such as crop rotation, terraced farming, and irrigation systems, to enhance crop yields and ensure food security. Innovations in agricultural production, particularly in Anatolia and the Balkans, supported the empire's growing population and surplus food production for export. Urban development. Ottoman cities, including Constantinople, Cairo, and Damascus, experienced significant urban development under imperial patronage. Urban planning initiatives focused on constructing mosques, markets, bazaars, public baths, hammams, and aqueducts to accommodate population growth and improve urban infrastructure. These developments fostered cultural vibrancy, social cohesion, and economic prosperity within Ottoman urban centers. In summary, Chapter 15 of the Ottoman Empire's history highlights its economic prowess, trade networks, guild systems, and policies that shaped global commerce and cultural exchange. Agricultural innovations and urban development initiatives further underscore the empire's commitment to sustainable growth and prosperity across its vast territories. These economic contributions continue to influence modern economic theories and practices, reflecting the Ottoman legacy in global history and development. Certainly, let's delve into chapter number 16, Influence on Islamic Civilization and World History of the Ottoman Empire, focusing on their contributions to Islamic scholarship and jurisprudence, influence on neighboring states, and the spread of Ottoman culture, as well as the legacy of Ottoman military tactics and strategic influence. Part 46: Ottoman Contributions to Islamic Scholarship and Jurisprudence. The Ottoman Empire made significant contributions to Islamic scholarship and jurisprudence, fostering intellectual advancements and religious tolerance. Islamic scholarship. Ottoman patronage supported the establishment of madrasas, religious schools, and libraries, where scholars studied and wrote extensively on Islamic theology, philosophy, and Quranic interpretation. Notable scholars like Mala Fenari and Abu Su'd Effendi produced influential works that shaped Islamic thought and jurisprudence during the empire's reign. Jurisprudence. The Ottoman legal system, based on Islamic law, Sharia, evolved through the interpretation and application of legal texts, fiqh. Ottoman jurists, ulema, codified laws, issued fatwas, legal opinions, and adjudicated disputes in courts, Qadi courts, ensuring justice and legal consistency across diverse regions of the empire. Legal reforms under Sultan Mahmud II's Tanzimat era aimed to modernize and standardize legal practices, aligning Ottoman law with European legal principles. Part 47: Influence on Neighboring States and the Spread of Ottoman Culture. The Ottoman Empire's geopolitical influence extended beyond its borders, shaping neighboring states and fostering cultural exchange across Eurasia and Africa. Geopolitical influence. Ottoman territorial expansion and diplomatic alliances influenced neighboring states such as the Safavids in Persia, Mamluks in Egypt, and Habsburgs in Central Europe. Political alliances, royal marriages, and military campaigns defined Ottoman relations with neighboring powers, shaping regional dynamics and geopolitical strategies. Cultural exchange. Ottoman cultural practices, including language, cuisine, architecture, and art, permeated neighboring regions through trade, migration, and conquest. Turkish language and Ottoman Turkish script became influential in administrative and literary circles, while Ottoman architectural styles, exemplified by mosques, palaces, and public baths, inspired cultural emulation in neighboring capitals. Part 48: Legacy of Ottoman Military Tactics and Strategic Influence. Ottoman military tactics and strategic prowess were instrumental in the empire's expansion, defense, and enduring legacy in military history. Military tactics. Ottoman armies employed innovative military tactics, including combined arms warfare, siege warfare, and cavalry charges, to achieve tactical superiority on the battlefield. Janissaries, elite infantry units recruited from Christian youths in the empire's Balkan provinces, became renowned for their discipline, training, and loyalty to the Sultan. Strategic influence. Ottoman military campaigns, such as the Conquest of Constantinople in 1453 and the Siege of Vienna in 1683, shaped European perceptions of Ottoman power and territorial ambitions. The empire's strategic control of key trade routes, naval dominance in the Mediterranean, and fortification of strategic outposts secured Ottoman influence across maritime and continental theaters of war. In summary, Chapter 16 of the Ottoman Empire's history underscores its profound influence on Islamic civilization and world history. Through contributions to Islamic scholarship, cultural exchange with neighboring states, and military prowess, the Ottomans left an enduring legacy that continues to impact global heritage and historical narratives. Their achievements in law, culture, and military strategy reflect the empire's dynamic role in shaping the socio-political landscape of Eurasia and Africa during its centuries-long reign. Certainly, let's explore chapter number 17, Enduring Legacy and Historical Perspectives of the Ottoman Empire, focusing on the historiography of the Ottoman Empire, its impact on regional geopolitics and stability in the Middle East, and contemporary reflections on Ottoman history and identity. Part 49, Historiography of the Ottoman Empire. Western and Eastern Perspectives. The historiography of the Ottoman Empire reflects diverse interpretations and narratives from Western and Eastern perspectives, shaping scholarly discourse and public perceptions of its legacy. Western perspectives. Historically, Western European scholars viewed the Ottomans through a lens colored by geopolitical rivalry and cultural difference. Early European accounts often portrayed the Ottomans as a formidable military threat and a barrier to European expansion into the Mediterranean and Eastern Europe. Renaissance humanists, such as Machiavelli, analyzed Ottoman governance and military tactics in comparative studies, influencing early modern political thought. Eastern perspectives. In contrast, Eastern perspectives, including Ottoman historiography and contemporary accounts from Islamic scholars and chroniclers, highlight the empire's cultural achievements, administrative innovations, and religious tolerance. Ottoman court chroniclers, such as Ahmed Resmi Efendi, documented royal ceremonies, diplomatic missions, and administrative reforms, shaping imperial narratives and legitimizing dynastic rule. Modern historiography. Modern scholarship incorporates interdisciplinary approaches and archival research to reassess Ottoman history's global impact and enduring legacies. Comparative studies of Ottoman administrative systems, legal reforms, and cultural exchanges with neighboring states provide nuanced perspectives on the empire's influence on Islamic civilization and Eurasian geopolitics. Part 50, Impact on Regional Geopolitics and Stability in the Middle East. The Ottoman Empire's impact on regional geopolitics and stability in the Middle East spanned centuries, shaping statecraft, religious diversity, and economic interconnectedness across diverse landscapes. Geopolitical influence. Ottoman territorial expansion and strategic alliances with local tribes and emirates established a network of vassal states and protectorates throughout the Middle East, North Africa, and Eastern Europe. Ottoman provincial governors, Beylerbeys, administered diverse regions, promoting trade, agricultural development, and cultural exchange along established caravan routes. Religious diversity. Ottoman governance upheld religious pluralism, protecting minority communities, including Christians, Jews, and Muslims, under a legal framework known as millet. Religious tolerance facilitated cultural coexistence and economic prosperity, fostering urban centers such as Cairo, Damascus, and Baghdad as hubs of intellectual exchange and commercial trade. Economic interconnectedness. Ottoman economic policies, including tax reforms, agrarian initiatives, and monopolistic trade regulations, integrated regional economies into a transcontinental network of commerce and cultural exchange. Ottoman merchant guilds facilitated the exchange of goods, spices, and textiles along maritime routes connecting Mediterranean ports to Indian Ocean markets. Part 51 Contemporary Reflections on Ottoman History and Identity. Contemporary reflections on Ottoman history and identity interrogate historical narratives, cultural memory, and transnational legacies in a globalized world. Cultural memory. Diasporic communities, descendants of Ottoman subjects, and global scholars engage in heritage preservation, archival research, and public history initiatives to commemorate Ottoman cultural achievements and legacies. Museums, academic conferences, and digital archives promote cross-cultural dialogue and critical inquiry into Ottoman contributions to global heritage. Transnational legacies. Ottoman influences on architecture, culinary traditions, and artistic expressions resonate in modern urban landscapes and cultural practices. Contemporary artists, filmmakers, and writers explore Ottoman themes in literature, cinema, and visual arts, fostering creative reinterpretations of historical narratives and collective memory. Global relevance. In a globalized world, Ottoman history informs debates on multiculturalism, religious coexistence, and geopolitical stability. Contemporary geopolitical challenges, including state sovereignty, regional conflicts, and ethnonationalism, prompt reflections on Ottoman statecraft, diplomacy, and pluralistic governance as models for inclusive societies. In summary, Chapter 17 of the Ottoman Empire's history underscores its enduring legacy and historical perspectives through diverse historiographical interpretations, geopolitical influence on the Middle East's stability, and contemporary reflections on Ottoman history and identity. The empire's cultural, economic, and diplomatic legacies continue to shape global narratives of heritage preservation, multiculturalism, and transnational solidarity in the 21st century. Thank you for joining us on this immersive journey through the captivating history of the Ottoman Empire. From its humble beginnings to its zenith of power, we've unraveled the tales of conquest, cultural exchange, and enduring legacy that define this remarkable civilization. Whether you're fascinated by the strategic brilliance of Ottoman sultans, the architectural marvels that dot their cities, or the economic and cultural innovations that shaped the world, there's more to discover. Subscribe to our channel to continue exploring the diverse facets of Ottoman history, from the bustling markets of Constantinople to the scholarly pursuits in Cairo's madrasas. Don't miss out on our upcoming episodes as we delve deeper into the annals of history, uncovering the secrets and stories that continue to inspire and intrigue. Join us as we journey through time, celebrating the Ottoman Empire's profound impact on global civilization.